So this is just a standard single leg deadlift. So I'm going to show a couple modifications or regressions, progressions for this drill. So a single leg deadlift with no assistance is the keys to this. This is a hip hinge position, so we want to see that the knee stays relatively silent. That means that we're not going forward too much. You will have knee flexion. I think that's a misunderstood thing, that we're not staying on a locked knee and going into this single leg deadlift. The other thing is that I think it's missed sometimes as we go into the single leg deadlift, we'll see an opening or an abduction of the pelvis away from the stance leg. We want to keep if you had laser pointers on the front of your pelvis, those would be pointing at the ground, which keeps your hip loaded into the posterior part of the socket here. So let's say balance is an issue. We don't want balance to be an issue with these drills, because then we're not working on good feedback through the joint complex, right? Then we're working on stabilizing, which is not the real goal here. So a good way to do this is you could just use a wall, a door frame, a foam roller, a dowel rod to help. The next progression up would be what? Put that on your foot. Now you use your own pressure to create good solid movement. And then we can progress or regress, whatever you think about this. So sometimes we'll use a mini band and we'll go opposite foot. So now you get a little bit of resistance, but you also get a little bit of stability. So this band's going to help control you in space. Now, one thing we haven't talked about yet is what's the foot doing? It's doing what the foot should always pretty much be doing in a closed chain position or stance. So we should have the tripod in effect, where we have 3 points of contact, ball of the foot, behind that pinky toe, and then right in the middle of the heel. And then we maintain a good arch or a short foot or yanda position. Now, a bad position would be a hammering of the toes, right? Where we see these go into flexion. We want to be able to flat press those toes and establish pressure. And a good cue for this, or a good way to get some feedback, is, do you see blanching in the toes, right? Or do you see that they're offloading? And then the other kind of fault would be that we see closing down space. So the foot needs to be active and highly functioning in this, because this is a single leg stance drill. And then of course you can always use a kettlebell. Which hand is it in? Well, what's the goal, right? Do I need to increase stability across the body in a contralateral pattern, or do I want to be able to resist rotation putting in the same hand, or are you just creating variability? Either way, that's a single leg deadlift.